Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Hopefully you guys are having a good Wednesday afternoon. The video earlier this morning, we kind of talked about some of the differences that are coming about with the 350 million download celebration tickets. Now, it kind of got me to a point where I think it's worthwhile to talk about what the ticket banner actually included in terms of the featured units. So we're going to use the basis of the 300 million download celebration Dokkan Fest as the basis for pretty much looking at, you know, what to expect, what type of units we can look forward to being featured on the 350 million download version. So just gonna go ahead and follow the timeline a little bit and just kind of walk through it one by one. So this is, again, the 300 million download version, and of course it was a joint celebrated version between Global and JP. I don't know if there was much of a difference between the two versions, if any, but you know, since I do main JP, I will be talking about the JP portion of it and just kind of following that schedule itself. So with that being said, the banner itself, I think the newest out of the list, and this is pretty much the entire list of the featured units that were on there, and as you can tell, there is quite a bit of units featured. So the odds of pinpointing down to a very specific unit will be very difficult. However, it looks like there will be another option in terms of exchanging for a specific unit with, I assume, a higher, you know, cost and tickets that are required in terms of, you know, how much it'll take to get that specific unit, because, you know, obviously it's a, you know, risk versus reward type scenario. So with that being said, out of the group, it looks like the transforming Goku and Frieza are probably the newest units out of the bunch. And if we go over to DBZ Space to look over the information, you know, the cutoff date was October 4th of 2018. We'll kind of use that as a basis to talk about some of the units that came out since, and you know, cutoff date of, you know, October, let's just say 1st of 2019, and that's pretty much what we would expect to, you know, in terms of like the featured units potential. Now, LR Cell was not included in terms of like the LR features, so again, that guy starting off, that guy should be included, and we'll kind of go through the timeline and just talk about some of the other units. So that's the LR list. So obviously you can pull legendary characters off of this banner, as well as, you know, the potential, all these, you know, whatever amount of units there are on the featured itself. Okay, so again, basically that was the 250 million download, and then as part of that, you know, we had the transforming Goku and Frieza. What's weird is, you know, they were basically the Dokkan Fest banners, right? The dual Dokkan Fest banners during that celebration, but they were featured on this particular one, so it does make you question whether that's going to be the case here with the LR Cell and you know, AJL Gohan, and we'll get into all that. So Goku and Frieza were not included in last year's ticket again, so that is going to be obviously an inclusion this time around. And we do have the transforming Buu and other units, you know, like the agility Metacooler is also another one. And, you know, it's really hard to pinpoint sometimes because of, you know, what units they'll actually include on the summonable, you know, banner with the stones versus including them on the ticket banner themselves. You know, if you go back to this list, you can tell the anniversary LRs are not on there, even from the 3 years. So, you know, it leads you to believe that obviously the 4-year LRs in turn will not be on there. But, you know, units like Goku Black, you know, my guess is they'll probably be included. If not, you know, they'll be added on to the actual, you know, dual Dokkan Fest banner coming up once the banner goes live. Hopefully, you know, these guys have been out long enough to where, you know, they should be included on the ticket banner. I hope so, but we'll see what happens with that. You got the Trunks and My unit, of course, they should be on there. Let's just keep scrolling up. So again, the 4-year LRs will most likely not be on there. My guess is they'll end up being, you know, off of the featured list, off of, you know, pretty much the Dokkan Fest banners. But, you know, I don't know for a fact if they'll be on there or not. But if they are, you know, most likely it'll be on the dual Dokkan Fest. And then keep scrolling up. We've got the anniversary LRs. So of course the GT Trio and Super Baby 2. Kid Goku did also come out during this time, March of 2019, so chances are this guy as well as this guy should be featured on the ticket banner itself. Hit, I would assume also inclusion. I mean, the question is, you know, if we're missing anything that wasn't necessarily included outside of, you know, the anniversary LRs as part of the Dokkan Fest and stuff like that. It's hard to, I kind of have to like really pinpoint back to like the historicals to get that gauge, but I think we'll be okay in terms of just looking at it from this standpoint. Kale and Khalifa, obviously very good units, and of course they're an LR, so they should be. Zamasu and Trunks as well. We'll keep going up, and let's keep looking at some of the newer units. Transforming Namek Saga Goku and LR Full Power Frieza. And I don't know if these guys will necessarily be included. It's hard to predict that one because of how potentially unique that character itself is. Even though it's a Dokkan Fest, I'm not sure if they'll be included on the actual 350 million download celebration banner. I feel like if they were to be added onto some sort of banner, it would be pretty much the actual new dual Dokkan Fest banner. Now they were on what was it, I'm trying to remember what it was. Like they were on a banner pretty recently on JP, so it's a little bit too early, I think, preliminary to include them on a ticket banner, but that's just my guess. I'm not Nostradamus by any means, so I can't predict the future, but at least that's my guess. Tech LR Broly, very, very solid unit, obviously very good. Missing one away from rainbowing the unit, so hopefully I can get that. The Piccolo unit fused with Kami also. And then we have the Double Rates banner, which just came out on JP not too long ago. And then we have, the actual banner itself. Again, this is a weird one, right? Because during the 250 million download celebration, the dual Dokkan Fest units were included as part of the ticket banner up here. So I don't know if they'll actually include these guys because, to be honest, I don't think they've been on back on the banners that often. It almost seems like they were on there during the 5-year anniversary, and that was about it. So I don't know if these guys would necessarily be on it. It almost feels like a little bit too preliminary for that. So I don't want to give anyone false hope. My guess is they'll probably be excluded, and it'll be up to this point. Basically, is my guess. Now, if they're included, that'd be great. I just don't know if that's going to happen or not. So of course we had a lot of banners come out since then. Unfortunately, in this case, I don't know if anyone new is watching here, but in those cases, they will not be included. More or less, they'll be added on the potential 400 million download celebration the following year, which is not until 2021. So we have a long ways to go for that. So I think in summary, again, this is pretty much you're getting back what you already consumed, right? So essentially, it's just whatever dragon stones you spent. For every 50 stones you spent, you do get a ticket back, and it's more or less just spending it. You can't really save it. I mean, it'd be dumb to save it, first of all, but they're gonna give it to you regardless, so you might as well go about spending it. But the featured units are pretty extravagant in terms of quantity, so it's going to be very hard to pinpoint. However, the silver lining to that is potentially the quote-unquote increased cost of ticket or the treasure item or whatever in order to exchange for a character. Now there's a lot of unknowns with that at this point, right? Whether you have to use a ticket to exchange for the treasure item in order to exchange for a character or a card or whatever the case is, or if it's flat out whatnot. There's the more time that goes on closer to the actual celebration starting, the more information we'll find out. But at this point, it's pretty clear you will have two separate options. So it's just a matter of the logistics of how to utilize those. So that's pretty much where I'll close it out. Again, I just wanted to cover the how the structure itself of the 300 million download celebration was for the Dokkan Fest with the tickets. So hopefully it gives you kind of a rough draft idea of what to expect, in literally the next 2 weeks. The celebration itself should start on the 28th. I don't know if that's the actual countdown start or the celebration will start and then the countdown's a little bit before that or whatnot. So as more information comes out, we'll get more clarity on that. But again, this is more or less just to cover the featured units, what to expect going forward with the upcoming celebration. So again, hopefully you found it helpful. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.